So Nesma, this is an area I really love talking about. Influencers sometimes come in a moment, sometimes they come in a lifetime. A lot of times when I'm speaking, I'll talk about my grandfather who my grandmother and my mom and came from Kyiv, Ukraine, and they came to Canada, immigrated to Canada. And he when I was 5 or 6, he used to take me for walks in the park in Montreal. And he talked to everybody, which is probably where I got it from, I guess. And he so one day I asked him, I called him Zeta, how do you know all these people? And he said to me, and I remember he said, he pointed, you see that guy over there? I smiled at him and he looked up at me and smiled at me. And then he came over and talked and this and that. And then someone else saw us and we were laughing, came over, we became friends and things happened and whatever else he told me. And as a little kid, I'm thinking, hey, life is pretty cool. All I got to do is smile at people and things work. And then you kind of make it more complicated as you get older, but it's not really complicated if, to make a difference that way. So, I'm sure you have plenty of influencers. Can you share two or three that have been influential in your life?
Yeah, I think my mom was a big influence in my life for sure. Both in inspiring me by the work that she did. As mentioned, she was an economist specialized in development and really dedicated her career to supporting the African continent around, eradicating poverty, healthcare, education, and always teaching me to be conscious and mindful of the privileges, that we had. And so her being very service oriented, very kind, very honest, hardworking woman. And so I think growing up with that example in this household was definitely a big influence and inspiration that I'm grateful for. And then my grandmother was one of my best friends. She was, yeah, it was a big love story between her and I. She played in my first film ever,
Oh,
the
wow.
one that I produced after the screenplay won the international contest I was telling you about.
hmm
And yeah, I have very fond memories of spending time with her, of exchanging stories, of yeah, of having that intergenerational, I think, influence. So it's something that stayed with me long after she passed. Um, and I think, yeah, those were, probably my biggest influence. I think my influences came from the people that, impacted me and gave me a sense of direction, or love and care in my life. And then, I was inspired by a lot of different artists, writers that I think in terms of real direction, I think that's are probably the anchors. I think I also struggled to find representation growing up and felt like I was carving my own path.
hmm
And so didn't necessarily, find someone that culturally, although as we mentioned, Maya Angelou, like Nina Simone, Tracy Chapman, those are big influences actually, musically and
Yeah.
Whitney Houston. I think these women also profoundly impacted me and how I saw the world.
That's so cool that you mentioned Whitney Houston and so tragic. She was spectacular. And, the children, her song about the children are our future, incredible song
Yeah,
and stuff like that. So that's amazing.
I love her.
Yeah, me too.
I used to listen to her CD with my mom a lot on the way to the beach when we were living in Ivory Coast, and I retain very fond memory of that album. I think it was like 98 Heartbreak Hotel or something like that.
I don't know if I should say this as a guy. I still listen to Whitney Houston. I saw her in concert once, and it was unbelievable. She had one of the best voices I think
Oh,
ever.
you're lucky.
And
Ever, it's like whether you're a guy or a woman, this if you are not able to recognize talent, then you're lost. These
exactly,
these
no,
people are
she
quite some
inspired.
voices for sure.
Yeah, she's inspiring. There's no doubt, and it's a sad story there. I think it teaches us, and I think you're really grounded in this. It teaches us that we're also influencing people all the time, and a lot of that time we may not even know it. So it's really a choice to be positive or the alternative, and that. actually shouldn't be a choice because we're impacting people all the time. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I love your grandmother. I think grandmothers are awesome. So good memories.
Love
Thanks.
my grandma.